Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Photography 101, where I critique your photos, I look at your photos, I give the best feedback I can, offer some tips and tricks, and just some general suggestions about photography, and kind of just share some of my experience and time behind the camera. So really excited to see your photographs on a regular basis. I've done, I think, 5 of these videos in the past, so if you haven't seen them, go check them out. I have 40 more photographers to look at here. So it's going to be a long series. It's going to take me a while to do them all as well. In this specific photo, I'm going to look at my good friend Mika, his photography. He's passed along not only some of his photography that has been edited, but the original file as well, the original raw .cr2 file. So I'm going to edit that one. I'm going to have the first experience of editing one of your raw files, and then we can kind of compare my edit to his edit. And I've already looked at them, so I've seen his edits. And he's done a fantastic job. For some of these, I don't think that I could have done a better job, and he may have already done a better job. So I might not even really try that hard, just knowing that I can't do better than him. So this is going to be a fun experience, and thank you, Mika, for sharing this. And I think this will be a good video for viewers as well. You can kind of see the before and the after for a lot of these. So let's jump into it, and let's take a look. So the first one is we have a subject here, which is pretty cool. Now I'll show you his edit, and this is the original, and then this is his edit. So we can kind of judge his thought process here a little bit. I actually like what he did with some of the cropping. In this one, you see this line in the background, that is a bit distracting. Even the pipes may be a little bit distracting. So he's kind of removed most of that. Here you can kind of see a little bit. He's straightened it up quite a bit, which is great. From an editing perspective, he's added some more contrast. I'd say watch the highlights. We're losing some detail around here, but this is a very nice, like, crisp, contrasty, kind of grungy because of the paint. You know, the paint's peeling off in the background. That's a very, very decent model shot. I would watch your shutter speed though, because you can tell that his hand is moving. And if I go to your raw file, which is here, we can actually tell what you shot this at. So 33 millimeters at 4.5 at 1/50th of a second. So that is the tell right there. 1/50th of a second. Your shutter speed was a little bit too low, which is why you have movement in the hand. If you're shooting inside or indoors or in a low light situation, you almost definitely want to be shooting at 1/200th of a second at least. Really try for 1/250th of a second, but if you need to settle for 1/200th, that's probably fine. Anything below 1/200th or 1/150, handshake or hand movement when you take a photograph can be very apparent. Some people have really steady hands and can knock out, you know, a 1/100th shot no problem. But and you've done a pretty good job actually. I mean, you're shooting at 1/50th. This is totally sharp. So in general, you have a pretty steady hand. I think he was just moving his hand a little bit. So. Well done, but try to shoot indoors at a faster shutter speed, because right now you have your ISO at 320, which is considered low. You're shooting with, I assume, maybe a T6i or something like that, or T7i, T8i, whatever they're at nowadays. So you can probably bump that ISO up to 800, 1000 and still be okay inside in a shot like this. So I maybe assume that you've shot this not on manual, probably on priority mode or something. So your camera is just prioritizing the wrong thing. It should have been prioritizing shutter speed. So you can actually set your camera. You can pick a shutter speed yourself on one of the modes, and it can make the decision based on your shutter speed of what aperture to use and what ISO to use. So I usually keep my ISO on auto, and to make sure, like, shutter speed to me is like the most important thing. I set that first, and then I think about the aperture, whether I want to shallow depth the field or whatnot, or depending on what I'm shooting, and I kind of let the camera decide about the ISO or sensor sensitivity. But anyways, decent shot here. If I was going to edit this, I'd probably do the exact same thing. Whoa, calm down. I'd bring this up probably even above the pipe. something like this. And we can use the line, you see the little corner of the wall here? We can kind of use that to give our judgment of whether this is straight or not. This is pretty close. I'm curious to see what this looks like in black and white. Nah, I actually like it. A good call, keeping this in color. The orange paint in the background peeling off. If I make this black and white, the paint that's gone and the paint that's there almost kind of melds in together. But with the color, you can really see and notice the separation. So good call on that. I like that, what you did there. It feels a little warm, so I might cool it down a little bit. If I could bring the highlights in without... Yes, I'm just looking for chromatic aberration here. I see just a slight tinge maybe there. Actually, not a lot. I'm surprised that there's a little bit of green here. So if we go down to our lens correction tab and we click remove chromatic aberration, you can see I'll just watch right here where my mouse is, right along there. Unclick, click, unclick, click, off, on, off, on. See how it moves that little green tinge? I don't know if you did that on your photograph. I can't quite tell because this isn't the highest. You can't really notice it anyways. Like this is super, you know, I'm really pixel peeping here to, but that's kind of what it's all about. You have to kind of look at all the little areas, and yeah, I mean, I didn't really do much that you didn't do. We might have done the exact same thing. Yours is, see how its skin tone is, it almost loses color. It looks okay how it is, but when you see the other one, there's a little, you can see, not life, not blood. You can't see the blood, but you can see that it just has more color in the skin. Where this one, if I go back to this one, it almost looks a little bit like a zombie or something. Like there's just life taken away from the skin. I think you may have probably pulled back the yellows like this. Oh, that's yours. Like this, something like that. I think you probably did that. Yeah, it looks very similar. So just be careful shooting people. That's it. Don't shoot people. Don't even be careful shooting people. Don't shoot people. Be careful photographing people. Anyways, I was here for this photo. This was taken in Prince Edward Island. So not only am I familiar with this photograph because I viewed them as he sent them, but I was here and I experienced it. So this is the original. This is his. Sorry. That's his original. His original. I already know he did the right thing here because there's a ton of, there's a lack of contrast. So I'm just going to edit it the way that I would, and we'll see how close it is to what he did. Yeah, something like that. There's definitely some chromatic aberration happening in this photo, so I'm just going to unclick that, and I'm just going to bring the purples and the magentas down a little bit. I have a feeling this is basically the exact same thing for the most part. Yeah, yours is just a little bit darker. Generally pretty close. Ooh, nice. Okay, I do remember you seeing this when you sent it in. Oh, so you got some selective color going on here. Usually that's a no-no, but here I'm actually okay with it. You've done a lot of work here to this photo. I am not going to spend this much time. But you see how Mika's really utilized the vignette effect in this photo. He has a subject in the middle. It's symmetrical because of the posts on the outside. I mean, it's not totally symmetrical. No offense, Mika. But wait a minute. Oh, you cropped that one out. Okay, sorry. But you see how he's utilizing the vignette coming down in the edges and stuff. It's subconsciously telling your eye to move to the middle. Whether you realize it or not, it is happening. And that was a very smart decision by Mika. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. I think, yes, you think you made the right decision here with selective color. But I'm going to want to see what I can do here. Bring the vignette in like this. I'm going to feather mine out a little bit. I'm going to change the midpoint so it's a little further in. I'm going to remove the highlights because I want more detail in the ground. I'm going to bump up the clarity. I think there's too much vignette. So whoa. I'm going to come back off on the vignettes. Quite noisy, so what I'm actually going to do is add some noise reduction, which is a bit of a no-no, but I'll add some color. So I have a feeling that you came in here and used the blue slider to remove, kind of like that. I personally probably would have left in the blue pillars, but I am going to remove the aqua from the cement or the ground. And I really want to kind of grunge up the cement here, the pavement, whatever that is. So I'm going to use the local or adjustment brush. And I'm going to reset all the settings. I'm going to bring the clarity to max. And just kind of basically paint in kind of like this. And we'll adjust it a little bit later. I'm going to just do the whole kind of ground area like this. I really want to exaggerate the texture of the pavement in there. So I'm going to bring up the exposure, maybe add some contrast. Something like that, maybe. And I'd probably do... actually, I need to fix my... We're not totally symmetrical here yet, so... I'm just looking at the pole on the right and then the pole on the left to make sure that I'm as close to as symmetrical as I possibly can be. And I might bring this down to here. See how there's a little tiny bit of light above that top beam? I might bring that down so it just covers that. So I'd probably do something like that, which is very similar to what you did. Yours, to me, if there's a little bit too much highlights going on in the roof or in the ceiling, to me the focus is on the that buddy there, the subject. So I kind of want to see, I want all the light to kind of be on him. Yours is there's a little bit too much, I think, brightness in the ceiling itself. So there's almost two subjects, I think. So personally, I prefer my edit. I mean, I don't mean that's inoffensive. Anyways, I mean, I basically did the exact same thing that you did if you look between them. But yours is a little bit more personal. You probably made the right decision as far as cropping it a little bit tighter and bringing the subject out a bit. But that's an awesome photo. Thanks for sharing that one. That's cool. Next one. Okay, so you went straight black and white, which is a really good decision actually here. I like that. But again, from a photography perspective, I already know that your shutter speed is too slow because of the blurriness of the cars. Oh, here's a really good example of chromatic aberration. See the green coming along this high contrast area? If I click that, oh, that didn't work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but whatever. I can tell that your shutter speed is too low. And if I check at the top, it is 1/80th of a second. So yeah, you're shooting outside, 100% should never be below, should never even really need to be below 1/250th of a second. Shooting outside, so definitely be aware of your shutter speed outside. But I might not even attempt to edit this because I think you did a pretty good job on that, on yours. I like your decision with black and white. I might be a little persuaded because I saw yours first. So yeah, I think it was a good call with the black and white. Well done. I just want to see what it looked like with the vignette. I think you added a vignette in yours too. So yeah, cool. This one, nice night shot. Wait a minute. Did you remove people? You did. Check the bottom, guys. Look at the left. Look at the right. He even removed the photographers. That's amazing. That's intense. I can see the glaring issue of the circle right here, but I didn't notice that until I saw the other photo. So, you fooled me. Good job. I think your edit's a little bit too purple. I don't think would be realistic to have that color there. I don't think there's colored lights there based on this photo. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, bring down the highlights, maybe boost the shadows. It definitely is too yellow. Okay, I see what you did. If we remove the orange, this one's tough. Shooting at night is really difficult, especially in certain situations like this. I like what you did here. I was just maybe warm it back up. But you see all the grain and stuff in the sky? If I increase the exposure a little bit, which I think you did, see all that noise? We can get rid of that, but it's at the cost of quality. So look at the detail here. Just remember that detail. I'm going to come back up to the sky. We're going to go to noise reduction, put it at about 50%. It's going to remove a lot of that. I'll bring up the color a little bit too. Now if we move back down, we've lost detail here. So if I bring this down back to where it was, so we're kind of sacrificing detail to remove noise. So we're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't. But the brightness on the bridge, the highlights on the bridge really make this difficult to edit. Yeah, I almost have to edit it in 2 stages, to be honest, because I kind of want. I want to remove any purples, probably any blues. Looks like there's some red up there. This is really difficult. I'm going to use the linear gradient filter to kind of do this. And I'm just trying to exaggerate something. It's really difficult. But it's so funny that you remove those people. That's just a difficult shot. What'd you shoot that at anyways? 1/20th of a second. You shot this handheld. Damn. That's actually super impressive that you shot this handheld. That's really impressive. You need to get a tripod though. Ooh. I like what you did already. So that's the original. That's the edit. Nice. Okay. I probably would do the same thing. Bump some shadows, bring back the highlights a little bit, add some contrast, bring the exposure down, add a little bit, just boost the shadows all the way. We want to really make that sky pop with some vibrance, a little bit of exposure. I think we want to remove the chromatic aberration from this one. There's a lot of high contrast areas. And I mean, from a photography perspective, it's interesting because this is the subject and there's depth of field because of the background's out of focus. There's lovely color, but it's kind of dead. Like all this stuff feels a bit dead. Our edits look very similar, so we basically felt the same way as far as what to do. And I kind of took the lead of your edit as well. I think you made the right decision there. But everything's just kind of dead. It tells a story, but there's not a lot of life in it. Next one. Ooh. Mika's from Finland, by the way, if you don't know. So you really cooled down this photo. Added a vignette. I try to stay away from vignettes with landscapes the best I can. And I can tell that your shutter speed is not fast enough again because of the moving waves down there. And you shot this at 1/80th of a second. So again, watch your shutter speed because see how blurry these trees are and stuff around here? I might actually want to see this in black and white, maybe. The sky is totally blown out, which makes it a bit difficult. Yeah. See, like, you have to be really careful with color balance because these trees look blue almost. Then that's obviously not the case in real life. The color of the water looks fine, but you could take the local brush, bring up the warms, and just kind of paint. I've exaggerated here. Don't worry, I'll fix it. Kind of paint above the snow line a little bit, up like that, and right down to something like that. So the trees look natural, but the water still looks blue. The snow can have a little bit of blue tinge if you want, but we can come in here and bring it back to white, basically. Because snow is white, it's not blue. There, yeah. So nice, something like that. I guess that was your photograph that I changed, not the original. But yeah, that's a nice shot. It's a really good shot as far as composition because you see this line. Let me see here. Whoa. This line here comes in kind of at a third. Not exactly on a third, but close. And here kind of comes, so symmetry kind of comes in here like this. And you have the foreground interest of here, which kind of balances the majority of the trees kind of up in this area. And that is an awkward drawing, so I'm going to erase all that. But yeah, Mika, thanks for sharing those. That was awesome. That was really cool to get some actual like raw files to kind of compare edits and what I would do. I can see shutter speed, I can see f-stop, I can see everything. So that was really cool. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. Awesome shots. I've seen some of your other shots as well on Instagram. I will link Mika's Instagram down below. Give him a follow if you want. And he's got some awesome shots. And if I'm not mistaken, Mika, you can answer this in the comments if you want, but you just got a DSLR a year and a half ago, maybe. And like I said, I've seen some of your recent work and it is pretty phenomenal. So your level of education and experience and, time with photography with a DSLR has really been exaggerated compared to most people. You've done a lot of work and I just know that you pick up on things really quickly. So very good job. It was awesome to look at your photos. Thank you so much. If you guys want to add any of your photos to this series, you can email them to me at productions@posttopostShow.com. Try and only include like no more than 10, usually around 5. Pick 5 of your best and or not 5 of your best, but 5 that you want to be critiqued and send them my way. So thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you again, Mika, for sharing your photos, and I'll catch you guys in the next series. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button down below. All right, catch you later. Adios.